guys? It's Moody with Performance Unleashed again, working with Remnant Performance. This is the next part of the turbo kit install. What we're going to be discussing in this video is the fuse box relocation and bracket and the power steering lines. We're going to be chopping off part of the bracket for the power steering reservoir, and I'm going to be showing you how to wrap and insulate the harness for this fuse box for the engine. First off, you're going to notice that we've sent you a thermal sleeve that you're going to be using for your fan shroud and for other stuff as well.
About 20 feet of it.
Yep, should be more than enough for more than 2 kits. So you'll have a lot of spare. This sleeve is not going to be able to go around this harness right now without some significant modding. So what you're going to do is you're going to take paper scissors and you're just going to cut it open so that you can just basically wrap it around that harness for the fuse box. You also have a massive roll of this thermal tape that you're going to be wrapping your throttle body cable with and your main harness that goes to the front. So you're going to be using that tape to hold this sleeve together. And you're just basically going to cut a length to be able to wrap this around like this. All right, figure out the length that you need, which is about that long, and then cut the sleeve to that length. I obviously cut it a lot longer just so I could show you what you need to do. But, you know, feel free to use more or less depending on what you need. You have tons to spare. So you want to wrap this around as tight as possible so that you don't have any room to play or, you know, room for anything to chafe or run around it. Like this. All right. Once it's wrapped around, you can actually do one of 2 things, which is grab some of the electrical tape that we also provide in the kit just to hold it at the ends, or take your thermal wrap and just play with it, right? Bear with me on this. I have really fat fingers, so it's a little hard to peel the backing from it. But the point is, you're going to be using this to wrap it and to hold it tightly. So I'm going to start by just making 2 small pieces so that I'm not holding the sleeve as well as wrapping it at the same time. So I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to wrap it like that, just so that it holds it tight. Do the same at the other end. And you know, if you have a different method to do this, feel free. This is just the method that I use, and it works pretty well for me most of the time. And of course, when you're wrapping this, you want to make sure that the tape is also as tight as possible. From there, you're going to take the rest of the roll, like this. I would estimate about this much. If I need more, I have more. I would estimate you're going to need about that much, maybe a little more, to wrap it and make sure that everything's tight. So I'm going to start from the bottom again. Falling tape alert. And this is going to be an arduous process. It's not going to be like a 5-minute thing if you want to get this done right. Because unfortunately, you can't really move the fuse box out of the way enough to have the space to do this in the air. So you're going to have to wrap it around once, very slowly, get it taut, nice and taut around. And while you're doing all that, you have to peel back the backing as well. So it's a multi-step process. And it doesn't have to look 100% pretty, but it does have to insulate your wiring harness from any exhaust heat.
So Moody, why is it a good idea to not just peel everything off at one time?
If you peel it all off at one time, like if you peel this backing off right away, this is very sticky material and the adhesive is going to stick to whatever else is touching it. So let's say I peeled it all off and it stuck to the battery and it stuck to the frame and it stuck to the manifold. I unpeel it and try to put it back on. you've lost that adhesive ability, and so now it's going to unravel itself a lot easier. So I'm doing this in the painstaking and arduous way, right? And it's taking me a little more time to do it so that this does not come off, because you really don't want this to come off. Plus, who doesn't like gold, right?
Go.
Go for gold. So, you see how it's, and I'm also, one thing, pro tip, overlap the wiring, right? So if this is how thick it is, you want to overlap half of that every single time, every loop, okay? That way you ensure that the tape is adhering to itself and there's nothing that's going to get in between it. Once again, 50% overlap. Bring it down. And if you find that this becomes really long, you can just cut it so that you don't have to fiddle with it. So this tape likes to bunch up on itself, which is why I want to double wrap it like this. I'm going to bend it in, do this. I'm by no means an expert. I've only done 5 turbo kits before. Not this one, but you know what I mean. So if you have a different method that works well for you, fantastic. I encourage you to do that. I'm giving you this instruction because this is what works for us. And this is the part that's most exposed to everything else. If you look right here, there's conduit, which is basically the heat wrap for it, the OEM heat wrap. This is the part that's going to come in contact with heater hose, and it's going to be sitting right on top of the coolant pipe and the exhaust. So you want to make sure that that's the part that's heavily insulated. Hand on it, grip it up. It's not supposed to look 100% perfect, but it's supposed to insulate really well. So I'm going to move this out of the way. This is basically where it's going to sit. The next part that you need to figure out is, we asked you to buy an oscillating tool for your kit. There's a couple of other things that you're going to be using that tool for. This is one of them. Your power steering bracket reservoir has 2 bolts over here. Ours is already cut because we have the kit working and everything, and we've already R&D'd it. You're going to have to cut yours this way. So I think the best way to do it is, with everything bolted up, you're just going to take the oscillating tool and cut straight down right here. Basically like shaving all of this off, because that way you don't have to hold it and at the same time cut. Once it's cut, you're going to take this off and you're going to bolt it in a different location. And we're going to be providing you with power steering line relocations as well. So Alec, can you tell me exactly which one we're going to be putting it on?
Yeah. So what's going to happen here is you actually go ahead and you move this to right here. All right, so this is kind of where this will sit here in the actual kit. So what we have, and we've included in the kit, is this mounting relocation bracket. You guys see it? They've got two holes on one side, 1 hole on the other, right? What do you think 2 holes are for? Boom, right there. Now this is the BK2 obviously, right? So 2 holes, and it comes here, and then the fuse box falls right on top of that, right? Now, if you've got the BK1 intake manifold, this is obviously not going to work exactly the same because there's not enough room for that. Very simple. We designed it so that if you just flip it over the opposite way, then you use this hole for the 1 hole on the BK2s, or BK1, sorry. You put like that, it will fit exactly where you need it to go for the actual fuse box, right? So it's exactly where you need it to be. So perfect. Everything's done there. So
Great.
we'll go ahead and show you here. Let's go ahead and grab the nuts there for the intake manifold. So these are nuts here that actually go on. They're 10 millimeter. They have nylon in them, so they will not back out, which is great. Just kind of hand tighten them on there as much as you can. You only get about a few turns before it won't go anymore. That's where we get them, and then we'll use our impact to go ahead and tighten it all up.
Of course, extension is not needed for this part.
Yeah, we just had it on for something else. So. All right, you kind of just feather it on there, gives you something. Then we have this extra long bolt. What you want to do, we have the 2 washers here. Take that bolt, and we want to power steering reservoir. Sandwich that in between the mount bracket and the fuse box. So you just kind of come up here, go through there, and like that. Then you go ahead and just kind of hold that in place. You take the washer and the nut. Go ahead and hand thread that on there. Then take your trusty impact. Again, no need for the extension. And go ahead and take a 10 millimeter, get underneath there, go for it. There you go. And now you can go ahead and blast that on. To make it nice and straight, nice and taut. And kind of want that going in that direction. And again, you can blast.
As we call it, ugga-dugga.
Ugga-duggas, yeah. 15 ugga-duggas.
Exactly. That's exactly how many you need. If you're going to ask us for the torque specs for these bolts, it's 15 ugga-duggas.
Ugga-duggas, exactly. So now that this is done, you have completed fuse box relocation, you wrapped the harness, and you've completed the power steering fluid reservoir relocation. Now we're going to go and do the lines as the next part of the video.
Yep.
Hey guys, yeah, just so to let you know that before you actually put the power steering fluid reservoir onto this bracket, you're going to want to go ahead and attach your lines. We include these nylon braided lines here for you. They're 3 feet each. It's plenty of line for you to get it right. This one, the way that we have our system, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, is a little bit different. We have our power steering, is that the return or
That's the feed.
That's the feed, yeah.
Sure that's
the feed coming out, and it actually is going the opposite direction. Yours goes backwards this way. So what you're going to want to do is route them through this right here, this passage, and Moody's going to show you how to do that.
Yep.
So that's kind of how we're going to use it. The small one obviously goes down to the front, and then this one goes to the feed. So without further ado, take it away.
All right, so as we said before, we're going to be routing these. It's going to be a little different. The best way to run these lines is right next to the coolant hose. And of course, like Alex said, these are 3 feet, so you're going to have a lot of extra line. What you're going to do is you're going to have to cut it to the length that you need, right, depending on how you want to route it, but this is our recommendation. And you're going to just pivot your reservoir a little bit this way so that it's out of the way of the exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
A lot of you are going to have the coolant lines to the intake, your throttle body, excuse me. So just make sure that you route your lines next to the throttle body. If you live in an area that is not cold, it doesn't get cold in the winter, these lines can be deleted and you just have to plug the hoses going to them together. So, as Alex said, the small line is going to go to the front, and you're going to have to basically go in from under the vehicle to route these lines where you need to go. And then the larger line is going to go to your feed. So for us, right, for Alec, his line is going to loop around, but yours is just going to go in like this, because this is going to be 180 degrees this way. So it's just going to sit like that. For Alec, I'm going to route it around and connect it. And once again, you're going to use the OEM hose clamp that the original line was on to hold this in.
Yeah, the bottom one's going to be a tight fit.
Yep. So even
Very
with
tight.
so without the hose clamp, it still holds, but don't not use the hose clamp.
Yeah.
So for now, that's just for demonstration. The bottom one, I will come in from underneath the vehicle. Route it right above the subframe underneath the other hose from the power steering line. And it just bolts up right there. That's it.
Hey everybody, Alec of Remnant Performance here. Just wanted to do a quick supplemental video to when we mounted the power steering reservoir. We actually went ahead and created a new power steering reservoir bracket, and we need to go ahead and kind of modify our original power steering reservoir instead of going ahead and trying to cut the bracket, the original bracket, down to fit. It's too hard for you guys as customers, so we want to make it easier. So looking at this, this is how it normally comes. It normally has these little pieces here, rubber stoppers right on this unit, and it has this right here, this rubber one here like that. I removed them, but I'll show you how the thing fits. So it's just pretty simple. It goes like this, it goes underneath there, and like that. So hopefully you saw that on the video. Really simple. You just have to get some needle nose pliers like this, come in from up top here, squeeze that section, and then once these are squeezed, you can just pull up on the clamp, and let's see if I can do it there on video. There you go. Yeah. Hard to do with no hands, but easy to do there. Yeah, pretty simple. There's that stock one is off right now. So go ahead and take off all the little rubber stoppers because you don't need them on for the moment. What you'll need to do is take an X-Acto knife, some kind of one that you have, and you need to go in here. There's this little pieces right here. I don't know if you can see it here, hopefully on the video. Yeah, these pieces right here and on the other side here too. You want to go ahead and trim those down, right? So just take your knife, kind of go right up against the edge, and then just push down, right? Should be, you have to put a bit of pressure on there, but it shouldn't be too hard. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll come right back to you. So yeah, we went ahead and cut one side using the X-Acto knife. It was okay, a little bit of extra work. So we switched to the oscillating tool, and this thing's awesome. It cut right down here in like 1 second. Now we're just trying to get this piece out efficiently. So I'm just taking our needle nose pliers, twisting it around, twisting it back and forth, and boom, took it off, right? Perfect. And you can see we didn't cut through, so no issues there. All right. Now let's get ready to go ahead and put on our new mount. New mount's going to face up like this. This part obviously is going to go right where the other one did, right here. And you're going to have a nice mount solution right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready for that. Okay, so this is pretty simple. If you have the rubber pieces still, sure, try and put them on. If not, don't worry about it. Just line it up and kind of just press it into place. There we go. There you go. There it is. Ready to go and ready to be bolted back up. All right, real simple.
So that's your power steering relocate.
And all right, see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.